Throwing an image onto a standard white screen is easy, but what if your aesthetic demands a pitch black wall? Today, we are pushing the industry's top projectors to their absolute limits to find out which ones can actually conquer the darkness without losing their minds. I have spent the last few weeks testing the most highly requested projectors on the market in my fully blacked out testing room, throwing their images directly onto a flat, matte black wall. While a few of these units completely failed to pierce the darkness as I had hoped, the projector that claimed the #1 spot genuinely shocked me with how it turns a black wall into a vivid, cinematic masterpiece. Number 7. Epson Home Cinema LS11000. I had high expectations given Epson's stellar reputation in the home theater space. This projector uses advanced 4K Pro UHD technology and a laser array light source, which immediately translates to a very sharp and detailed image when you first turn it on. The initial setup process was incredibly smooth, and the motorized lens shift, zoom, and focus made dialing in the picture geometry a breeze, even from a tricky mounting angle in my testing room. The picture processing on this unit is handled by Epson's proprietary 36-bit ZX processor, which does a fantastic job of handling color transitions and smooth motion. I spent a few hours watching high-action movies, and the frame interpolation kept everything looking fluid without introducing that dreaded soap opera effect. It handles standard dynamic range content beautifully, giving older movies a fresh, vibrant feel that you would expect from a premium piece of home theater equipment. Gaming on the LS11000 is also a notable feature, as it supports up to 120 frames per second at 4K resolution through its HDMI 2.1 ports. Input lag felt virtually non-existent when I plugged in my console, making it highly responsive for competitive shooters and fast-paced racing games. The sheer scale of gaming on a massive projection is always fun, and the laser engine ensures that the projector turns on and off instantly without the annoying warm-up times associated with traditional bulbs. However, the moment I transitioned from standard white screen testing to my completely black wall, the LS11000 quickly showed its limitations. It outputs 2500 lumens of equal color and white brightness, which is undeniably excellent for a dedicated white or gray screen, but on a black surface, that light simply gets eaten alive. Number 6. NEBULA Mars 3. The Nebula caught my attention because it is marketed as the ultimate outdoor go-anywhere projector, and I was curious to see how its portable nature would hold up in my extreme testing environment. The physical design of this unit is heavily ruggedized, featuring a sturdy handle, water resistance, and a built-in battery that promises up to 5 hours of playback. Right out of the box, it feels like a piece of camping gear rather than delicate home theater equipment, which is a very unique approach to projector design. Setting it up is practically foolproof thanks to its intelligent environmental adaptation features. As soon as I placed it down, it automatically ran through its autofocus, keystone correction, and screen fit algorithms, getting a perfectly rectangular image on the wall in mere seconds. The inclusion of Android TV 11 directly built into the unit means you do not need external streaming sticks, making it an all-in-one entertainment hub that genuinely delivers on the promise of portability. The audio capabilities of the Mars 3 are also worth highlighting, as it packs a surprisingly robust 40-watt speaker system with Dolby Digital Plus. When I was running my tests, the sound easily filled the room with rich, immersive audio that you rarely find integrated directly into a portable projector. The LED light source claims a lifespan of 30,000 hours, meaning you could use this extensively outdoors or on the road without ever worrying about replacing a lamp. Unfortunately, when it comes to the monumental task of projecting onto a black wall, the Mars 3 falls completely flat due to its severely underpowered light output. 5. XGIMI Horizon Ultra. This projector utilizes a fascinating dual light technology that combines both laser and LED light sources, aiming to provide the ultra-wide color gamut of a laser with the natural, comfortable viewing experience of an LED. When I fired it up in my testing room, the immediate color accuracy and the richness of the reds and greens were undeniably impressive, showing a massive leap in visual fidelity. One of the standout features of the Horizon Ultra is that it is the world's first long-throw projector to support Dolby Vision. Watching Dolby Vision-enabled content on this unit is a treat, as the dynamic metadata allows the projector to adjust its output scene by scene, optimizing the highlights and shadows in real time. This processing power really helps when you are projecting onto a challenging surface, as it intelligently pushes the brightest parts of the image as hard as it can to maintain contrast. The intelligent screen adaptation 3.0 technology built into this unit is also incredibly sophisticated. It dynamically adjusts the brightness, color, and contrast based on the color of your wall and the ambient lighting in the room. When projecting onto my black wall, I could actually see the internal software analyzing the surface and compensating by dramatically boosting the output and altering the color temperature to ensure the image remained remarkably viewable and accurate. It boasts 2300 ISO lumens, and while that number does not sound drastically different from the Epson we discussed earlier, the way the dual light engine utilizes that brightness makes a world of difference. The image retained a surprising amount of punch and saturation, refusing to be completely swallowed by the dark paint. Number 4. Hisense PX3-PRO. Sitting just inches away from the wall, it completely eliminates the issue of casting shadows when people walk through the room, which is a huge quality of life upgrade for a living room setup. The moment I turned this on, the sheer volume of color it produced was absolutely breathtaking, easily covering over 100% of the BT 2020 color space. This color volume is the secret weapon when dealing with a black wall. Because the PX3-PRO uses pure red, green, and blue lasers, the saturation is so intense that the dark surface actually acts as a massive contrast enhancer rather than a light sink. Pumping out an impressive 3000 ANSI lumens, the light hits the wall at a steep angle, and the sheer brute force of the brightness ensures that the image remains incredibly vibrant, effectively turning the black wall into a giant glowing canvas. I was particularly blown away by how it handled high dynamic range content, natively supporting Dolby Vision, HDR10+, and HLG. The localized contrast was stunning, allowing for incredibly bright highlights like explosions or sunbeams to pierce through the darkness of the wall with aggressive intensity. This was the first projector on the list where I felt like the black wall was actually contributing to a better picture, providing absolute zero-level blacks while the lasers handled the highlights. Gamers will also find a lot to love here, as the PX3-PRO features a dedicated gaming mode with a high refresh rate and ultra-low latency. I spent hours playing visually dense role-playing games, and the input response was snappy and reliable, while the trichroma lasers made fantasy landscapes look unbelievably lush. 3. BenQ X3100i. The BenQ is marketed heavily toward the dedicated gaming community, but its performance as a pure home theater powerhouse on a black wall is absolutely phenomenal. Utilizing a 4LED light source, this projector outputs a massive 1300 ANSI lumens, which immediately puts it in the upper echelon of bright projectors. When I cast its image onto the dark paint, that extreme brightness sliced through the light-absorbing surface effortlessly, delivering a picture that was blindingly vivid and full of life. BenQ's cinematic color technology ensures that this extreme brightness does not come at the expense of color accuracy, as it covers 100% of the DCI P3 color gamut. I was mesmerized by how well it reproduced subtle skin tones and intricate textures, maintaining a natural and filmic look despite the intense light output. The black wall provided an infinite canvas of darkness, and the X3100i simply painted over it with rich, intensely saturated colors that never washed out or faded. As expected from a gaming-centric projector, the input lag is class-leading, boasting a ridiculous 4.16 millisecond response time at 1080p 240 Hz, and a highly respectable 16 milliseconds at full 4K 60 Hz. Playing fast-paced shooters on this unit while it blasted its image onto the black wall felt like looking through a window into another dimension. The contrast between the brightly lit in-game environments and the pitch-black borders of my room created a hyper-immersive tunnel vision effect that is hard to replicate. Installation and setup were also heavily refined, featuring vertical lens shift and comprehensive keystone correction that allowed me to dial in a perfectly sharp image without compromising the optical quality. 2. JVC DLA-NZ7. Stepping into true reference-grade, audiophile-level home theater territory. JVC is legendary for producing projectors with the highest native contrast ratios on the market, and the NZ7 proudly continues that legacy. It features JVC's proprietary Blue Ascent laser diode technology, and while it produces a seemingly modest 2200 lumens, the quality, purity, and focus of that light make it perform exceptionally well on a dark surface. The defining characteristic of the NZ7 is its 8K E-shift technology, which accepts 4K signals and shifts the pixels diagonally to create an image with effectively 8K resolution. The resulting picture is so staggeringly sharp and devoid of any visible pixel structure that it looks less like a projection and more like a massive, organic OLED television. When beamed onto a black wall, the complete lack of light bleed in the dark areas means the image floats in the darkness with a holographic level of depth. JVC's FrameAdapt HDR is perhaps the best tone mapping software built into any consumer projector today. It analyzes HDR10 content frame by frame and dynamically adjusts the peak brightness and gamma curves to perfectly match the capabilities of the projector. In my testing, this meant that the NZ7 was constantly optimizing its light output to ensure that the bright highlights sparkled intensely against the black wall, while the midtones remained perfectly exposed and highly detailed. The optical engine and the all-glass lens assembly on this unit are massive, heavy, and built to incredibly exacting standards. Using the motorized lens controls to snap the focus perfectly sharp from edge to edge was deeply satisfying. Because the native contrast is so astronomically high, the projector does not need to rely heavily on dynamic irises to create black levels, meaning the transition between bright daylight scenes and deep space scenes is flawlessly smooth and natural. 1. Epson Pro Cinema LS12000. Taking the ultimate crown is the Epson Pro, a machine that represents the absolute pinnacle of what is possible when you combine flawless light efficiency with master-class image processing. Utilizing an advanced 3-chip 3LCD design paired with a laser array, this projector produces 2700 lumens of both white and color brightness. Unlike single-chip designs, there is no color wheel here, meaning you get 100% of the color signal 100% of the time, resulting in an image of breathtaking purity. When I aimed the LS12000 at the completely black wall, the results were nothing short of miraculous. The light engine is so incredibly efficient that it managed to illuminate the dark surface with a vibrancy and intensity that I simply did not think was possible. The colors exploded off the wall with a richness that felt almost tangible, and the absolute brightness uniformity across the entire massive screen area ensured that the corners never looked dim or faded. Epson's 36-bit ZX picture processor works in perfect harmony with the laser light source to deliver an incredible dynamic contrast ratio of over 2,500,000 to 1. The projector's real-time scene analysis dynamically adjusts the laser output, resulting in highlights that are aggressively bright and punchy, piercing through the black wall's light absorption like a hot knife through butter. At the same time, it maintains absolute integrity in the shadow details, allowing you to see every texture in the darkest corners of the image. It is also an absolute dream for high-end gaming and modern media consumption, fully supporting 4K resolution at a blistering 120 frames per second through its HDMI 2.1 ports.